was like, it was just this back video that but I don't know what.
Hi, good people. It's your girl Thogori. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Janice Enjoys Podcast. I'm delighted, so delighted to be here with you today, and I'm super grateful for your continued support to continue watching these episodes as I post them every week. And Happy New Year once again. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this Happy New Year, but it's the end of January, so I think it's time to stop saying Happy New Year. Welcome to the day in the life of our girl who is here to elevate with you and to change her story with you guys and to become a better person and to take you along on her journey into becoming the best version of herself. And that is all I wish for you guys. And if you're new here, this is your first time on Janice Enjoys Podcast, or you're bumping onto this channel today, welcome to this channel. Here we are all about self-elevation, self-discovery, and self-awareness. And we are taking you each and every day of this journey of self-awareness. And we are glad, I'm super glad that you have bumped into this channel, and that means that you are embracing this journey of self-awareness and self-discovery. And I'm proud of you. And I hope the journey is going to be beautiful for you as it has been for me, and you're going to enjoy every step of this journey. So welcome to Janice Enjoys Podcast. In this channel, we use real life experiences, and we are happy, and we just come here to learn and relearn and learn and relearn, because what is life? It's all about learning and relearning every single day. And if you have an opportunity to watch these episodes or any other channel that is all about self-awareness, I hope you do not take that for granted, because many things that people who talk about these certain topics, they either talk from experiences or the experiences of other people, and it's good to learn from other people's experiences, or whether it's good or bad. Do not wait to learn from your own experience, because only a fool does that. So if you get this opportunity to hear about our vulnerabilities, about our us bringing out our mistakes, our failures here, or here, we are trying just to give you some insights. You might not be going through through similar experiences, but but you might pick an insight that might help you some way in other areas. You never know. And that is all we are living for, just to elevate each other and become better people in the society and in ourselves. So if that is what you're looking into, or that is what you would love to do for yourself, this is the channel for you, and I'm proud of you. 76%, I'll go again. I said this in the last video. 76% of you guys watch this channel but have not subscribed. 76% of people who watch this channel have not subscribed. So guys, if you're watching this episode, if you're watching this video and you come across this video, kindly down here just hit the subscribe button, and I will highly appreciate. This is the only way that I ask for your support. Just to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, and I will highly appreciate. Want this videos to get to as many people as possible, because self-awareness is something that touches everyone. It doesn't go on, it's not a specific, touches every area of your life. So, and the men, oh my goodness, I'm super grateful to you guys. This channel, the description of this channel is, the bio of this channel is that it's a ladies podcast, but the bigger percentage of the people that watch this channel are men, and I am grateful to you guys. I'm super grateful. And yeah, so kindly subscribe to this channel, and I will appreciate it. Guys, I hope you watched. Also, moving on to the next, I think, and I hope you watched last week's episode, or just listened to it, and you got some insights that I was giving you my story about what I realized about my history in relationships and in dating. And I hope you got the insight, or you got the message. However you got it, I don't know, but I hope you got at least to get what I was trying to pass across. Okay, so, and considering what has been going on social media about different people and their relationships, I think it's better we address that issue. As a young woman, as a young lady, you need to work on yourself. You need to work on yourself first before getting into a long-term committed relationship, because we've just realized we know women tend to lose themselves when they are in this kind of relationship. So it's better to learn yourself when you're younger before starting doing that work when you're older, when you've already made some certain life decisions, and then you're wondering, why didn't I know this earlier? And I'm super grateful for this digital age, because right now people are more open, and they are ready to share their stories on their different platforms and it gets we get to understand the bigger picture, or we get just to understand how the dynamics of these things work. So as much as we go through different things in life, or everybody is on a different journey, we can borrow some insights from other people's journeys. So, and this digital age has allowed us that grace to be able to listen to other people and learn from their own mistakes before getting ourselves into maybe the same situation. It doesn't mean that you might not get there, but at least you will approach that situation with a little wisdom and a little knowledge. You understand? So I'm super grateful for this digital age, honestly. That was my last week's episode, and I also talked about relationships and how I understood, or I knew relationships when I was a younger lady, and how I understand them and I approach them right now as a girl in her late 20s. So I hope you watched that episode. This today is a new episode, and today's episode I want to talk about same things, but in a different way. But mostly it's about boundaries. I've talked about boundaries in this channel before, and I usually talk about them each and every time. When I listen to these stories about these things that have been going on about relationships, that, like, for example, I gave an example last week on Akina Bumpy and the Saram Tali, and now it's Annie Ididia. I feel like everything that has happened or has been happening is all due to lack of boundaries, beginning with ourselves. This book I've been reading about boundaries is a great insight into it. Has deep revelations on how we carry ourselves. Everybody, even men, lack boundaries. We won't say that even men they are so firm in their boundaries, that is why they are treating those women like so. No, it's only also because they also lack boundaries. But today I'm going to talk about how I understand boundaries as a lady, because it's difficult to say in a man's perspective. I'm not a man, I've never been a man, I don't aspire to be a man. So I'm going to talk about boundaries in ladies, yani in a lady's perspective, if I must say. And it has given me great insights on boundaries with yourself, with God, with family, with children, with every area. Actually, it's every area on our daily lives. And I felt like I needed to share this with you. I felt like I had to share this with you because as much as we are all in different journeys or in different places in our lives, its boundaries affect you whichever stage that you are in your life. And I will say this, as a young lady, I had no boundaries, and I didn't know I didn't have boundaries, and I didn't know even the meaning of a boundary. If I must say, a boundary is a line, is a limit of what your life is about, or what it's like a line. It's like a line. I would say that this line, it's between me and me alone, and nobody can pass this line. But when you don't have you've not drawn that line, you have no boundaries. You are an open door, you are an open gate, and anything can come and anything can go out. This is how I was in my early years, my teenagehood to my early 20s. I lacked all the boundaries you can think about. So this book, and how I knew I didn't have boundaries, this book tells us, or the authors of this book tells us, wherever you see that somebody can be able to attack you in a very easy way and you do not get upset. Let me use his exact words. People who can't get angry when they are being violated, manipulated, or controlled have a genuine handicap. No warning lights. So I would say I never had these warning lights. I never had these when people try to manipulate me, try to control me, or try to violate me. I never had this green light or a red light or whatever light that would tell me that is wrong. I would imagine somebody would try to control me or to violate me, and I would just laugh along. Actually, let me tell you, I even everybody, most of the people who knew me or know me, they would even ask me, even actually I remember my best friend would ask me, and do you ever get upset, do you ever get angry? And that's a huge red flag, guys. I must tell you, when you find yourself you're in a state that you never get upset, I'm not saying that you have to be triggered by everything or you have to be upset about everything. No, there are people who have these anger issues throughout. They always have a terrible mood throughout their lives. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like generally. There are some things that you cannot entertain. But when you find yourself entertaining those things and laughing along, and even you don't have a problem with that, then you are honestly, you're handicapped in a way. And he calls it you have a genuine handicap, and it's a handicap of the brain, because you do not have boundaries whatsoever. And this was me for that time, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that I lacked boundaries. And why am I saying this? Because we find ourselves most of the time, we find ourselves in situations that we don't want to be in, only because we don't know how to say no, or we don't know how to say yes. You know, you don't know at the right time to say no, you don't know the right time to say yes. So you're mixed in between, and you're like, if I say no, maybe they might feel sad, or they might be upset with me, or they might dismiss me, and they might not involve me next time. Or maybe you might say yes, and the moment you say yes, you say no to other things that are more important than whatever you're saying yes to. Maybe somebody is asking you to do them a favor, and that favor you know very well. If you do them that favor, for example, maybe they want you to go with them someplace, and you know very well, if you go with them to that place, you won't be able to finish your reports on time. You won't be able to do some other things on time, and that will affect your job or your performance. But the moment you say yes, you regret it, and then you become bitter and you become upset, and you start saying, I usually go above and beyond for this person, but this person doesn't go above and beyond for me. You know, and then they're like, see, you said yes, so who is to blame? You have nobody to blame but yourself. So as ladies, or as people, we have to understand that these are my limits. I cannot go beyond this. If I go beyond this, it's going to sabotage me or sabotage my choices in life, one way or another. One way or another. You don't have to care about other people's feelings, because that is not your responsibility, first of all. It is their own responsibility, if I may say. And you know, when you develop these boundaries, when you start having these boundaries, you start feeling isolated. You start feeling like you're doing other people wrong. And I'm saying this from experience, because when I started setting my boundaries, when I started having my boundaries and saying no to certain things and saying no to certain people, it came with a lot of bitterness, not from me and from them, and also a lot of resentment, because the person is feeling like, why are you saying no to me? And you're feeling, why are you not receiving my no in a positive way? Because when I say no to you, maybe, for example, that maybe you want to stay at home that weekend. I'm giving these examples of going out or not going out, because these are the most basic examples, and that affect most of us, because these are the examples. Because you might, or maybe a friend wants to come over to your space, to your house, and you're not in a position to be around someone at that particular time. So when you say no, they paint you a bad person because you said no. Or maybe your friend wants to borrow you something, maybe your car, for example, and you don't want to lend it out at that particular time because you want to use it or because of your own reasons. And then when you say no, this person takes it in a negative way. So that is what I'm trying to say. That is none of your business. That is not your responsibility. Their feelings is not your responsibility. Even your spouse, maybe you're married, or you have a boyfriend, or you have a partner. Maybe your partner is not used of you saying no to certain things, and when you start saying no to them, they feel upset, they feel resentment, they feel bitter with you. I want to tell you this bitterness or this resentment will come to an end. I remember I really had a problem with saying no to my friends when it came to inviting me to places. This one time, I couldn't make to go to a friend's birthday party, and I when they called me, it wasn't a birthday, or it was just a celebration, and when they called me, I told them, okay, I'll come. Imagine. But deep in my heart, I feel like I don't have, my finances are not right. I cannot afford to go there. First of all, when you go there, you have to carry a gift. I don't feel like I'm able at the moment, so I can't. But I've already said yes. So when this day came for this party and I didn't show up, and I didn't call them, or I called them later, or I just sent a text, I don't even remember, they were so upset. They had a right to be upset, but I also had a right to be upset. You have to be in that point in your life to have these clear boundaries and say, I can't do it, and if you get upset, that is upon you. That is not my problem. So in this 2025, you guys, let's set clear boundaries and let's learn our limits. Let's get this, just get this urge to know who you are and to understand. Even God has boundaries with us. And when I say he has boundaries with us, God has boundaries with us in this way. He gives us free will and he respects our free will. When you decide today that you won't be a follower of Jesus, he does not force it to you. He does not come to you in your dreams to tell you have to follow me by force, or if you don't follow me, you're going to hell. He respects that and he gives you that space to be a sinner, to live in your sinful nature, because living in your sinful nature, that is what you want. You want to do the things that are contrary to his word, you know. So when I say that that when you say no to someone, it's not your responsibility about how they feel about it. It's really not your responsibility, but you really have to learn when and when not to say no to them. When and when, even your friends, your family, and anybody who is in your circle or is your friend, it's just anybody. You just have to learn to do this for your own safety, for your own sanity, to prevent burnout, to prevent feeling like you've given too much and yet you're receiving too little. You know, when you have boundaries, there's no day or there's no way you'll ever feel like you're giving too much and receiving less. There's no day. And when I set my boundaries from that time, because I've been working on these boundaries, and these boundaries, they also stem from your attachment styles. I talked about attachment style in my last episode, and I told you the way my attachment style affected most of my romantic relationships. When you understand very well your kind of attachment style, that is the beginning of your freedom, because now you will be able to become a secure attached person by be able to set boundaries and set limits and prevent burnouts and prevent having victim mentality and prevent blaming the other person. You understand? So when I talk about boundaries, I'm not talking boundaries on just these small issues, even it's the big issues, because when you, for example, I've given you that example of me telling my friend that I'll go to a party, and I remember, but ever since back, even since I was in high school up to my early 20s, it was very clear. I didn't know how to say yes. I didn't know how to say no. I will just say yes to everything. And this stems to wanting to be liked, wanting to always impressing the other person, wanting always to fit in. It all goes down to that. Because why do you want to be liked by everyone? Even Jesus wasn't liked by everyone. You can imagine. Why do you want that? Why do you want to give promises you cannot keep? And this was my biggest, when I started this channel, this was my biggest fight about myself. Because my friends were especially most of my closest friends, especially my best friend, she has been the one who has suffered my boundarylessness for the longest time. And her, I can tell you, when she can't do something, she tells you straight. That if you borrow some money from her, she'll just tell you, she won't promise you that she'll look for money or anything. She'll just tell you, hey, me, I can't afford that, or I'm not in a position to do that, or I'm not in a position to come. I would have loved to. You see, honesty, when you have boundaries, you're an honest person, honest to yourself and honest to the other person. You see, but when you lack boundaries, you're not honest to yourself and you're not honest to the other person. When you have boundaries, you don't care about the other person if he likes you or not. When you lack boundaries, you care more about what the other person thinks. And that is being selfish to yourself. That is being selfish to yourself. That is not loving yourself. That is not knowing who you are. That is not having limits with yourself. And having boundaries, I can say also, it helps you make better decisions, because when you have boundaries and you don't ask other people and you don't seek their validation and you don't seek their approval, you're able to make decisions that favor you. You don't go asking other people for advice on making certain decisions. And you know very well, when you ask for advice from other people about certain things, even not certain things, everything, you have to make your own decisions, so that the wins and the failures of those decisions, you embrace them from your heart. Imagine you've asked for advice about something. For example, let me give you an example where most ladies we fail at during romantic, in a relationship. We tend to ask our friends for advice. You ask your friend, do you think this guy is good for me? And, well, truth be told, your friend doesn't know better truth be told, your friend doesn't know him and doesn't, yani, even if your friend knows him, sometimes your friend can give you sober good advice when they see abuse or they see some funny characters from this guy. But for example, you have a great guy and you're asking advice from your friend might give you an advice that doesn't favor you or doesn't favor that relationship. And when that happens and if something bad happens to that, maybe you decide to end that relationship and maybe later you find out this person was a good person after all, you are just acting out because of your insecurities or because of your own, you couldn't make your own decision, you had to seek advices from other people, you start blaming your friends. You start saying, hey, this one ananisikiliaga wivu, or this one doesn't like me when I'm in a relationship or when their relationships are thriving, you know, these kind of things. But when you make your own decision, you learn this person for yourself, you learn his characters or his behaviors by yourself, you're able to make that decision better by yourself. Same thing when it comes to career. Yes, there are people who are in those careers who are thriving and they can give you an honest advice or an honest opinion. But there are people who are also there who you can't borrow advice from. For example, when you're asking your parents about a certain advice for a certain career, and them themselves, they've never even had that career. So when that career fails, you can't blaming your parents because they told you to follow another career path. You start blaming your parents. You start saying, hey, Mimi, I didn't want to do this, or maybe my dad forced me to do this. And yet you would have just made that decision and told your dad, me, I'm not going to do this, whether you like it or not, whether he gets upset or not, it's up to him. His feelings is his choice, you know. So when you have boundaries, it's easier. And ladies, let's normalize having these boundaries and having people who are honest to us, who can be able to call us out when they see we lack boundaries. But the bad thing is we usually associate with people who also have no boundaries themselves. So when they lack boundaries, they are not in a better position to explain or to give an opinion, you know. So let's learn ourselves, guys. Let's learn who we are. Let's learn our limits. Let's learn the root cause of lacking your boundaries. Were you trying to fit in? Were you trying to because of circumstances? You know, sometimes when you're younger, circumstances force you to try to fit in, and before you get out into that, you've already been you've already lacked all the boundaries you can imagine. But when you get to that point, learn, embrace yourself, carry yourself with grace, and learn these boundaries step by step. Whether they come with rejection, whether they come with a lot of people, you know, like I'm saying, when you set your boundaries, people resist them so much. They really come with a lot of resistance, but stand firm. Get a group of community of people from your trusted friends, your close friends, or the people just that you trust, or even from your church, or go to therapy, or just do something that will ground you, that will ground you, and you'll be able to make sober decisions and not to abandon yourself at any given point. Despite the failures, despite the wins, despite the challenges that we go through as people, you will not be able to abandon yourself at any given point, because you already have set your limits. And people will start respecting you for your boundaries, because they'll start now saying, hey, I can't go further than this because Nyambu is this kind of person. I cannot talk to Nyambu this way because there will be consequences to that. I cannot do this and this. I cannot just force myself to do this because there will be consequences to that, you know. And the people who care and the people who love you so much, they will want to respect your boundaries because they love you and they want to stay connected to you one way or another, you know. So let's learn our limits. Let's learn about boundaries before making any like long life decisions that we cannot change at any given point. That or anyway, anything can be changed, but won't leave us with certain scars, you know. But anyway, sometimes scars are good because they build resilience and everything. But anyway, learn from other people's mistakes. That's all I can say. Learn from other people's mistakes. Don't only a fool waits to learn from his own. That is from the Bible. I don't remember which part, but it's from Proverbs. And pray to God to give you wisdom, and pray to God to just give you the spirit of discernment, so that you can be able to discern when people are not respecting your boundaries. Okay, guys. So that's we come to an end on today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope that we learn to keep our boundaries this 2025, and we learn who we are. That is the ultimate goal: learning ourselves and discovering who we are, learning and relearning from our previous patterns, from our bad patterns. We relearn from them, and we make we become good people, good human beings. That's all for today. I love you so much, guys. Take care and subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna see you next week. Peace and love. Bye bye.